Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. You are welcome to another edition of Getting It Right with Your Kids on Kin Media. And I want to tell you that today's program is perfectly loaded because you are going to learn, relearn, and unlearn this journey. We want to take you through the journey of getting it right with those ones Allah has given you as a guardian, as a leader, as a teacher, as a brother, or as whoever has anyone to mentor. My name is Kafaya Toliwo Oyelere, and I have here with me.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. My name is Fauzia Salakosoni, and like Kafaya has said, we are here on getting it right with our kids because these days there are a whole lot of things that we need to do to making sure that our children they are good role models to their own children that will be given birth to. So inshallah, like she has said, we have an interesting thing to talk about. Kafaya, what are we talking about today?
Mashallah. So let's go. Let's talk about parenting styles. Ordinarily, there are quite a number of parenting styles, both the ones we know, the ones we don't know. But majorly, you discover that a lot of them just wake up once they have children and then they continue to lead them just the way they feel. But the truth is, we have different kinds, different types of. We have a whole lot, but today on this edition we'll be looking at just 4 major parenting styles according to psychology. So I go first. Okay, you go first.
Okay. One of the 4 that we're going to be talking about today is what we call authoritarian style of skills of parenting. From the word authority, we got that word authoritarian. This simply means when a parenting style is giving rules, setting up rules. Okay, these are the ways to go about this. Just about giving authority, giving rules, not giving that child his or her own way to also think about sometimes. Okay, mommy said do this. How else can I do it? You just the authoritarian style is I give a rule. Everybody, you have to come in by 8 a.m. and you have to be there. You have to be in the house by 8 a.m. Setting rules. Though this, like I've said, Kafaya, if you agree with me, it is in 2 ways. Why? Because it has its advantage and it has its disadvantage.
Oh yeah, but cutting you short right there is it actually means the house is just like a military barracks and everyone will have to obey the last order. Yeah. So it definitely does. So what do you think?
So I think, for instance, if we are giving just rules, fine, as parents, we brought them to this world. We must set goals for them. We must set rules. Because they don't know. But what we have said under this authoritarian style is that we set rules. But in as much as we set rules, we are not giving these children their own way of thinking so that they too can have at least to contribute to that setting of that family that we're talking about. Now, I said it has disadvantage and advantage. One of the advantages is that, fine, if you set rules, it makes your children to be organized, to be coordinated. Yes, to know that anywhere they are in any society, there are rules they need to obey. That is fine. Another way to look at it, which I think is a disadvantage as far as I see it, is the fact that some of these children, at the end of the day, when they grow up, they become not too confident of themselves because they feel that they are afraid of taking some decisions, even so they have to take by themselves because they are afraid that what's going to happen. So they've not been given the opportunity to actually.
That's exactly what I've even wanted to say when you were saying it has an advantage, and that's the fact that the children are organized. I disagree. Majority of the children that are brought up this way, we only be good when the parents are there. When the parents are not there, they just do something else. It actually gets back to us to why we were growing up. If they just get set, if you are growing up in a home where they set only the rules, and then the children does not have a say, you do not have to explain to them why they have to do this. You just tell them don't do this and that's final. You discover that when the parents are not around, the children become something else. And by the time you hear the on that your father is around, everybody starts trying to get coordinated or covering up. So for me, the authoritarian parenting system, it just does not really work in today's modern.
Yeah. What I'm saying that in this day, like we have said, this day in this modern way of bringing up children, that might not likely work because these children of these days, they are not just going to fold their arms and say, what you say, I'm going to follow you. Before you say something for fire, I want to add this that authoritarian as well, like I said, it has advantage. It makes you to be organized, even if your parents are not there. The fact that you are remembering that if you do this thing wrong, my parents will flog me or will be angry with me, will caution you from doing that thing. So it makes you somebody who wants to be organized and be orderly in things that you do.
Okay, in as much that that is true, I still tell you that a lot of children that are brought up under authoritarian, most of the time usually lack self-confidence. They can't speak up for themselves, they lack self-esteem, among others. So I am going to be talking about authoritative parenting. You see, there is no best way parenting. We just want you to look at yourself, if this is who you are, and then try to change where possible. In the authoritative parenting style, there is this one. The children is a kind of way when the children has a way of expressing themselves. This is a parental system where the parents set rules and involve the children in the process. So whenever you tell your children don't do this, then you are ready to tell them why. Just like my children do, or children of these days. Before you tell them that you don't have to whistle. While I was growing up, my parents tell me don't whistle, and we just agree that's it. Then today I told my son, don't whistle. He said, why? You have to tell them why. So this is a kind of what we call authoritative parenting. In this kind of parenting style, the children have a say, they understand why they are doing what. Then at the same time, when you set a rules, it has to be followed. So then you introduce discipline instead of punishment. In this case, you address whatever the children has done. You attack the attitude, not the child. So instead of saying, what is wrong with you? Then you say, why have you done this? So there are two different ways. So in this kind of parenting system as well, when you tell the children that this is what you are going to earn, or this is the reimbursement or reinforcement, this is what you are going to earn if you do this, and this is what I'm going to give if you do that, then you must really follow it. It's not a system of, you know, those parents that say, I'll beat you, I'll beat you, I'll beat you, and for the next 3 years, that beating will lock up. So the children understands that she's just saying she can't do anything. You see them when they are playing, they'll say, your mommy is something, no, she can't do anything. So this is the kind of authoritative parenting style.
Let me just add something to that, Kafayat, because that very one, I think it's a good one because it gives the child the opportunity to ask, to even understand better. Why do you say I should not do this? You understand? So let's move to the next one I want to talk about today, which is permissive parenting style. This permissive parenting style is that kind of skill that parents, they give room. They allow children to do whatever you want to do. They give you room to be yourself. To be yourself. But the only thing I think it is negative about that is that when they open that room for you to do whatever you want to do, they don't tend to monitor what you are doing so that they can caution you when you are not doing it right, when you are going wrong, when you are doing things over or more than what you're supposed to do. But they just give you that freedom, give that liberty. Okay, you are grown up, do this, do this. And as a child, if you have that kind of opportunity, you want to be yourself, anything you want to do, because nobody is there to tell you, this thing, you need to be cautious of it. That is permissive. The parents allow the children to free themselves, like what they say, freestyle. They to free themselves to behave the way they want to be. But as a parent, in this age that we are, my own advice would be that even though because we want these children to feel free, to have their freedom, at the same time, we shouldn't leave them to just do whatever they want to do. There needs to be guidelines. You are their parents.
That's why they are parents, just to show them the way, to let them know what they have to do. And then the last one we'll be talking about today is the uninvolved parenting style. Just the way it sounds. The parent is just there as a father figure, but there's absolutely nothing he has to do with that child. Unfortunately, we see quite a number of parents that are doing this. I saw a child who is just 7 years old, and the child said he happens to be the one, so a child who is around 13 said she's the one who is taking care of the younger ones because the father is not there, the mother leaves on Monday, comes back on Saturday, and they have to fend for themselves. She just drops money. So I was surprised, a 13-year-old taking up that kind of responsibility. And then she still has to meet up in school in the morning. So what are we saying in this time? So they are just a father figure, they are just a mother figure. Whatever the child does not involve them. And then when you engage, because I've had a lot of opportunities engaging with this kind of parents, they tell you that, what do you want me to do? The father is no longer there. Then I need to fend for them, I need to go and work. But most of the time, let me just tell you is that when you leave this child unattended to, the kind of harm they are going to cause, whatever work you have done, you will not be able to harness it. So why don't you just try as much as possible to always be around to guide these children? Remember that the Prophet said, Your children are like your flocks, and everybody is going to give account of whichever he has kept in your care. So it is, like we said, we have mentioned 4 different types of parenting today. Although we still keep saying that there is no best parenting method, but just look at the one that best suits you and handle them perfectly. Once again, my name is Kafaya Toyewo.
And I am Fauziya Salakos, and I hope we have gained one thing or the other on today's edition of this program. Don't forget, getting it right with your kids. We need to get it right with our kids because they are our future.
Thank you for staying with us.